In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 must-have brand types that every clothing reseller needs in order to be successful.
Hey, I'm Lee Meyer, and I'm the founder of Listing of Freedom and the Empowered Reseller. And I help clothing resellers make more money without hustling harder. Let's get started.
If you've been reselling for any length of time, or maybe you're just starting to look into reselling as a side hustle, you probably already know that what you sell and finding things to sell are a very important piece of your business. You might be thinking that in order to be successful, in order to make a lot of money, that you have to spend a lot of time out shopping, out sourcing for items, and it can almost feel like you're looking for that needle in a haystack, and you have to find these needles in a haystack if you want to be successful and if you want to see money coming in to your bank account. As a reseller myself, I've made over $100,000 selling used goods on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and I also get to help others start and grow their reselling businesses. And I've seen over the years in my own business, as well as helping others, that there are 3 different types of brands that you need to be looking for when you're sourcing in order to see success, in order to see money coming in on a regular basis, and so that you're not just finding that occasional big win, that occasional, needle in the haystack that makes you a whole bunch of money, but maybe you spent a lot of time looking for it. If you're looking for the specific brands that you should be selling, we're not going to be getting into that in this video. Rather, I'm going to give you some broad categories for these 3 different types of brands. If you'd like to grab my free brand list, I'm going to leave the link to get that free list in the description below this video. And in this list, I give you all of the brands that I've sold to make over $100,000, and they're the brands that I still sell on a regular basis. All right, so we're going to jump right in. And that first type of item that you should be looking for, that you should have your eye out for, is that occasional lucky find. That is what you might think of as that needle in the haystack. Now, a lot of resellers have this maybe backwards, or they're looking at this the wrong way. They're outsourcing 7 days a week, looking for that one item. Maybe they're picking up one item a day that falls into this lucky day category, but they're spending a lot of time doing it. Yes, making a lot of money all in one sale is very sexy, and all of those types of YouTube videos where they're showing big wins and sales that were hundreds of dollars or even thousands of dollars, those get a lot of hits, but it's probably not the reality for most sellers on a regular basis of finding, tons of these items every single day when they're outsourcing. Of course, if you love sourcing, if you love shopping, and that's your jam, then by all means, spend your life at the thrift store. But myself, as a mom of 4 kids, and I'm guessing probably you too as well, there's more important things in your life than just shopping. That said, you do need to be aware of these lucky day find types of brands so that you can find them when you're outsourcing. So for me, in my own business, I source 1 day a week, which is about a couple of hours. And during that 2 hours, I usually find 1 or 2 of these types of brands. Some trips I might not find anything, but on average, it works out to about 1 or 2 lucky day find types of brands per sourcing trip. To give you a couple of examples of this type of brand that I found when I've outsourcing, one of them is this Filson coat that sold for $250. That's what I'd consider a lucky find. I'm not finding this every single week when I'm outsourcing. This Peruvian Connections sweater that sold for $100 is another brand that I would consider to be a lucky find. These types of lucky day brand find items you can kind of think of like the icing on your cake. The second type of item that you need as a reseller are bread and butter items. These are not the icing on the cake, but we can't just eat cake, right? You have to have a more balanced approach, a more balanced diet. And so these bread and butter types of items, these are more everyday brands. They're things that you're gonna find on a regular basis and be able to turn over for a profit. These aren't usually super sexy sales with huge numbers, but they do make up the majority of resellers' income throughout the weeks, throughout the month. They're like the staple of your business, and they are the thing that allows you to not have to spend your life in the thrift store if that's not something that you want to do. So let me give you some examples of some bread and butter sales. Now, bread and butter does not mean that they have to be particularly low in value, like $5. You don't want to make, just $5 per item, but you can make bigger amounts with these bread and butter brands that are recognizable and a little bit more easy to find. So let me show you some examples of some things that I found and flipped for a profit. This is a Tommy Bahama shirt that sold for $27 almost immediately after listing it. This is a coat by the brand of Walls that sold for $40, again, pretty quickly after I listed it. And these are a pair of American Eagle shorts that sold for $20. Again, they sold very quickly after I listed them. Not everything sells that way. These just happened to sell all really fast. And again, they're not huge ticket items. I'm not making loads of money on each of these sales, but they do add up really quickly and they end up making the majority of my income every month. That's why they're called bread and butter items. Now, there are tons of these bread and butter types of items out there, and I've compiled these bread and butter items along with that first type of the Lucky Day finds because you don't want to miss those when you come across them. And I've compiled them all into an amazing resource called the Big Money Brand Library. And I'm going to leave a link here for you to check out that library. You can also get the guides individually. And it's easy to think, oh, there's only, 20 great brands out there, or there's only, 50 great brands out there. But when I was compiling these, I actually came up with 750 different brands that are selling for $20 on average and more. They're all compiled in these guides for you, complete with pictures and tag photos so you know exactly what you're looking for, as well as done for you research of average sale price and sell-through rate so that you can make informed sourcing decisions. If you're interested in the individual guides, I've got a special coupon code for you. You'll need to add 2 to your cart and then enter the coupon code YTBOGO, and that will get you 50% off of your second guide. It's a buy one, get one, 50% off. I'll leave the link for those resources along with that coupon code in the description below this video. And let's go ahead and talk about that third and final type of item to round out your business. All right, so we've covered Lucky Day finds, we've covered those bread and butter types of items. So what is that third type of item that you need to round out your income from reselling? Now, this third type is especially important if you don't live in a big city, if you don't have access to a lot of these bigger name brands. And this third type of item are what I call gambles. Well, most of the time, I don't recommend gambling on items. About 5% of the time, you'll come across items where you're like, okay, I think maybe I could make a lot of money on this. Maybe you're looking up comps and you're not seeing any other items that are similar. You can't find any sort of price range to expect for this particular item, but there's just something about it that tells you that it could sell for quite a bit of money. And these are what I call gamble types of brands, gamble items. I've got a couple examples for you here of some items that I gambled on, or maybe a better way to put it would be made an educated guess on. And the first is this pair of boots. It's by a brand called Stuart McGuire. And if you look this up, they're gonna be selling on average around $20, but I made a bet on this item that it would sell for a lot more just given its style. Picked them up, they did take a little while to sell, but they ended up selling for $100. But the $100 was totally worth about, the $5 that I invested into them. The second gamble item that I have for you, and these are just examples, I usually find 1 to 2 of these gamble items every time I'm out sourcing. The second example that I have for you is a men's jacket that sold for $50. Again, this wasn't any particular brand. I just knew that there was, something about it that it was gonna sell for a lot of money. I do have a resource for you to help you identify these gamble types of items so that you're not just gambling and wasting your money, but you're gambling and making an informed decision. And it's called my Sourcing Secrets Workshop. It's about a 60-minute workshop where I'm going in depth of the types of items like these to be able to source for your business. And again, this is very, very helpful if you don't live in a big city and have like a lot of luxury brands or a lot of big name brands to be selling. When you approach sourcing for reselling with this more balanced approach of lucky day finds, as well as bread and butter items and these gambles, you're probably going to be a lot happier because you're going to have more time at home, more time to spend with people you love versus just spending your life looking for that needle in a haystack. Thanks for hanging out with me. Make sure to watch the next video, which is shocking things to sell for loads of money. I'll see you there.